Welcome to the Monday, February 5th, 2010 City Council meeting. Before we begin, we will have a prayer by Councilman Schreiber, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father, let the deliberations made by this body be guided by wisdom and tempered with ethical judgment. We ask that you bless those who are just in their service as civil servants to our nation. Father, we ask that you protect our service members as guardians of freedom. We ask your blessing for the family of former council member Jim Branch regarding the recent passing of his mother. In you, Father, we place our trust. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Monday, February 5th City Council meeting. Mrs. Donaldson, roll call, please.
Fitzwater.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Hussey.
Here.
Kimna.
Here.
Mahalovich.
Here.
Prather.
Here.
Schreiber.
Here.
Ward. Here. Wiseman.
Item 3, is there a motion for adoption of the agenda?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 3, miscellaneous agenda items. There are none this evening. Item 5, public hearings. There are none. Item 6, we have no appointments. Item 7, presentations from staff, consultants, and invited guests. We don't have any this evening. Item 8, announcements by mayor, council, and staff. I will start the announcements this evening with mine. And this week there was the Special Olympics beam signing ceremony. And I want to say a few things about Special Olympics and how great it is to have them here. These are some statistics that the News Tribune mentioned, that SOMO campus is expected to bring approximately $350,000 per year to the Jefferson City economy, and estimates around 1,200 athletes and coaches and volunteers taking advantage of the year-round opportunities that could bring in 1,950 room nights and 7,500 meals annually to Jefferson City hotels and restaurants. So those are some pretty amazing estimates, in addition to how wonderful it would be to have a Special Olympics here in Jefferson City. They're Training for Life headquarters. So that was pretty impressive. During my announcements, too, I want to mention that we also have Ian here. He is new with the city and wanted to just take a moment and welcome. We're glad to have you here on board and look forward to seeing you here. So welcome from Idaho. So thank you. Any other council announcements? Councilman Schreiber.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. I want to thank members of the community, and particularly Not Insurance, Eastside Business Association, and Capitol Monuments, and those people that were involved from the city with the dedication of the beautiful granite bench honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that was held on January the 23rd of this year, down at the roundabout by the link, and several council people were here, and you were there as well, Madam Mayor. So I want to thank those people. It's a very beautiful bench made of gray granite and got a lovely engraving on it. So I want to thank those people that contributed to that effort. It's a very, very nice project. Also on Wednesday, February the 7th, this Wednesday, starting at 11 a.m., we'll have the Host Lions Club 62nd annual ham and bean and chili meal. So be sure you come out. It's down at Sullinger Center. Tickets are $8 in advance, $9 at the door, and we do have carryouts. So we encourage everybody to come. Councilman Prather and Councilman Graham are also involved with that project as members of the Host Lions Club. So we hope to see everybody, and we have it regardless of what the weather is. So come out and enjoy some really good food. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I already have my ticket from you, Councilman Schreiber. He beat you to it, Carlos. So, so thank you very much, and looking forward to that. Any other announcements? Councilman Mahalovich.
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have a Finance Committee meeting, 7:30 this Thursday, large conference room.
Okay. Any further announcements? Okay. Item 9, excited to announce we have a new Lincoln University student representative. So our new student liaison is Carolyn. So Carolyn, welcome, and we are really glad to have you. So, and if you'd like, we'll invite you up here to the podium. You can come on up, and then council will get a chance to meet you. And Jonathan Jackson was our first ever student liaison, and now we're very excited to bring you Carolyn Wanjuro. Great. So tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, and what you're doing at Lincoln University.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Caroline Rogero, as you've all heard, and I am a sophomore here at Lincoln University, majoring in clinical laboratory sciences. I was born in Kenya and moved to the United States in 2011. I moved to California, the state, lived in Los Angeles, and I moved to Missouri in January of 2017.
It's okay. All right. Can everybody hear me? Yes. All right. Well, again, my name is Caroline Wanjiro. I am a sophomore at Lincoln University, majoring in clinical laboratory sciences. I was born in Kenya, moved to the United States in 2011, and I've been living in California from 2011 to 2017, whereby I moved to Missouri for school. Yes.
Wonderful. We're very glad to have you here. So
Thank you.
what is it about Jefferson City that interested you to being our student liaison?
Well, I was born in a city that is similar to Jefferson, very small and very quiet and peaceful. And I feel that as students here in Jefferson City, yes, Lincoln University is one of the big schools here. And so as a student representative and as a student liaison, I feel as though it's very important for students to have a voice of what goes on around the city in which their school is housed. And it is a great pleasure to be a part of this council and to hear what you all have for the city of Jefferson.
Wonderful. Well, we
Yes.
are really happy to have you. We look forward to working with you and getting to know you, all the city council members. And are there any questions of council at this time? Welcome, and we appreciate you being our connection with Lincoln University. You're going to be a great person to link us with Lincoln and the students. It's very important that we have a connection with our students here. So I appreciate that very much. And I'd like to get a picture, so if you'll come forward, and if all the city council members will come behind me, we're going to do a picture here on your very first city council meeting.
Sure. Thank you.
Up front there, but I was going to say we have a special nameplate for you, so we will present that to you now. All right, welcome, Caroline. We're so happy to have you. All right, item 10, presentations from the gallery. We have no one signed up for specific bills. Item 11, consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 12, bills introduced, 2017-111.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute an amendment to a grant agreement between the City of Jefferson and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the purpose of adding project time to the runway rehabilitation project at the Jefferson City Memorial Airport.
Mr. Marash?
Thank you. I think the clerk indicated it pretty well. It's a time extension to our grant agreement that allows us to get our final payment on the grant.
Thank you. Any questions of council? Okay. 2017-112.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, changing, amending, and modifying the zoning map of the zoning code of the City of Jefferson by rezoning 4.98 acres of land addressed as 734 South Country Club Drive from RS1 Low Density Residential to PUD Planned Unit Development and approving a preliminary PUD plan for said property.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As the clerk indicated, there's two parts to this bill. First one would rezone a 5-acre piece of property from single-family RS1 to a planned unit development, and it would also approve the preliminary PUD plan for an office building on that property. The property is out here off South Country Club Drive. It's in shaded, if I can get the mouse to stop, adjoining the golf course. It's approximately 5 acres. The Cole County and Hydrus Association is the owner of the property. The Missouri Soybean Association is the applicant. You can see it's about, I think it's fairway up there where that PUD is. The property all surrounding it, the golf course, is pretty much the residential single family. There is another facility similar to it, the Farm Bureau, I believe everybody's familiar with it, is directly to the east of the property there. I'll zoom in a little bit more, you can see the property is sort of irregularly shaped. It's 4.98 acres. It's currently being used more or less as a parking facility for some of the trucks that the owner uses. Can't see it too well on the graphic here, but the planned unit development is a 14,000 square foot office. They have a 3,000 square foot maintenance building on it. They also have an outdoor conference facility, standalone, excuse me. They're planning some walkways and sidewalks, which actually go around the stormwater detention basin. And they're also planning to put in a 10-foot stretch of greenway that will hopefully down the road connect to more greenway in the city. And here's a graphic of a representation of what they're planning on building on that. It's quite interesting. They're going to use this as a showcase for soy products. Many of them incorporated actually into the construction of the building, and there you see some soybeans will be planted there, and they will be using it as an educational facility, and perhaps, and they plan on having events and bring people in and kind of, expand on what their industry does and their products. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Sanders? Great. 2017-113.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, providing for the voluntary annexation of real property contiguous to the present city limits into the City of Jefferson, Missouri, located in the 3500 block of Chapel Hill Road, and amending Section 1-17 of the Code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, defining the existing city boundary by adding one new subsection pertaining to the same subject.
Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is cleaning up a 2015 voluntary annexation and also zoning the road, the same zoning as the adjacent property. The property is located, you can see it outlined in black there. It's just off of Scott Station Road is to the left, North 10 Mile Drive, and then Truman Boulevard is to the south. The property that was annexed a few years ago is that large green section up here that says Chapel Hill. At the time, sorry about my cursor moving crazy. At the time that was annexed voluntarily, the road was not in condition that met the city standards. So working with Cole County, basically if they repaired the road and brought it up to standards, we would go ahead and then voluntarily annex that at the same time. It's to be assigned the same RA2, I believe it is, same zoning of the adjacent property. So basically we're moving the property line from the southeast side to the northeast side of the road. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions of council? All right. Item 13, there are no bills pending. Item 14 on the informal calendar. Councilman Hussey, what are your wishes for 103 and 104?
Just let those stay on the informal.
Okay. Item 15, resolutions, 2017-23.
A resolution authorizing the City of Jefferson to apply for the Recreational Trails Program grant.
Mr. Marash?
Yeah, thank you. This is a project we're cooperating on with Parks to apply for a grant through the Recreational Trails Program, but basically to construct a greenway from Dunklin over through Mulberry Miller to Broadway through the city parking lots there to connect the two greenway trailheads together.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Marash? Is there a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved.
Motion and a second, it sounds like. And any further discussion, deliberation? Roll call, please.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry. Hussey.
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Ward. Aye. Wiseman. Fitzwater.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution 2017-24.
A resolution authorizing the City of Jefferson to apply for the Fire Act grant.
Chief Schofield.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This would support an application for the FY 2017 Fire Act grant. That grant would be comprised of two parts. One is baseline heavy metal testing for annual firefighter physicals. It's a one-time expense. The other is to replace fitness equipment within the fire stations. be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Schofield? Is there a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Kimna.
Aye.
Mahalovich. Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Ward. Wiseman. Fitzwater.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Item 16, presentations from the gallery, and individuals will have 3 minutes to speak. We have Mrs. Jane Beadham signed up to speak on the School Street Local Historic District. Welcome, Mrs. Beadham.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I'm here to talk to you about the School Street Local Historic District proposal. I've been here a number of times to talk to you all, and before I've asked for an extension, and tonight I'm glad to say that we have completed our proposal and submitted our application to the city on January 25th. I sent a copy of it to you all electronically tonight about 4 o'clock, so you may not have had a chance to read all of it. There were at least 7 or 8 attachments, so it may take a little while to look through that. I appreciate your patience and willingness to give us the time to work on this, because as the first local historic district to be proposed in Jefferson City, it did take a while to figure out how to approach it and what was the best way to deal with this project. We did not ask for the city's signature on this. Even though the city is a property owner, I wanted to let you know it was not an attempt to snub the city or to overlook you. What we had hoped to do is get enough individual property owners' signatures to submit it without the city's signature. Partly because that shows more strength from the neighborhood, and partly because it's a little more complicated trying to get a notarized signature from the city. You know, would it be a resolution? Would it be an ordinance? Would we have to get from the city and Parks and Rec Commission? You know, there's a number of questions that would have to be answered, so it was just easier not to deal with that at this time. So we wanted to go ahead and get started on the review. The review process, as outlined in the current ordinance, says that the review will be done by the Historic Preservation Commission, and then if denied by the Historic Preservation Commission, it will be submitted to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So they would be the appeal process. There is no mention of the council in this ordinance currently. And I know the staff are a little concerned about the vagueness, you know, of the language, but that's what we have to work with. We're hoping that by going through this process the first time, we'll be able to identify what works, what should be improved, and that can be addressed later on. And the ordinance can be revised to reflect what we found out. We're trying to help property owners in the neighborhood. It's really kind of an exciting time. We have, as you know, Tony and Jenny Smith have redone a house there, and their daughter and her family live there, which is exciting. If you remember the Chamber's proposal a couple of years ago, and they were trying to bring young people into the center city to live. You know, it's a walkable area, and this family's excited to live there. They've been written up in the paper, and so the first thing they find out about is an effort to tear houses down in their neighborhood. That's a little disheartening. So we hope that we can work together to get more owners in this neighborhood. We do have a new property owner, a young lady who bought in the last year, and we have a couple of property owners that have bought houses and are waiting to invest money in those once they get figured out, can they get a building permit from the city? Because right now they can't. And so that's one of the reasons we want the local historic district in place, so that those that are prepared to invest money in this area and make it more attractive and more livable can do so. So we're really promoting that. We also want to promote, you know, increased property values in the area and improved appearance. So this project supports economic development as well as historic preservation, and I hope that you will support our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you for your effort on that, Mrs. Beadham. Any questions? All right. Thank you. Yes, glad to see that's moving along. And item 17, any council and staff discussion of presentation topics?
Not
Councilman
a
Graham?
presentation topics, but I do have a question for, I guess, for Matt. And Matt, as I drive along, I think it's Monroe Street, the wall that's leaning, could you give us an update on that wall? And should we be concerned, or should we be doing something now? I'm not for sure, but it looks dangerous to me. Maybe it's just looks.
Yeah, people have brought that up to us recently. We did go out, and actually there is a crack on top of the wall in the street there, and so we've actually put some survey markers on there so our survey team can go out and monitor that occasionally. It has moved a little bit, pretty slight though, but we're considering taking the traffic off of it, number one, but we haven't taken that step yet.
Okay, just
Yeah, we're monitoring it closely to make sure, but you know, there's no sense you get this a lot of moisture like we have, freeze and thaw, it's a possibility. So I have not paid attention to it as the last few days, but we'll have someone go look at it again.
So is that just something that's being done in-house, or would that have to be an outside
If
person?
it were to
or what?
fall, you mean? Fall
No,
over?
just as the way it looks now, I'm just,
Oh,
I'm just
like I said,
concerned
we're
about
monitoring it in-house now. The solution is to bring it down and build a new wall, basically.
Has everyone else had a chance to see that wall on Monroe Street? Okay, all right. Well, thank you for that update.
Thank you.
Any further topics? Councilman Henry.
Already been discussed at, this issue's been discussed at Public Works, so everybody's, I know everybody on Public Works is aware of it, so we've been briefed on that too, so.
Great. Item 18, any new business? Any unfinished business, 19? Okay, item 20, a motion to adjourn at 6:20.
So moved.
All right, all in favor, aye. Thank you. And we've moved the meeting fairly quickly along because everybody, please be careful.